So this week, I wanted to talk about how you help your coaches hit Success Club. Okay. Leah is at 6, and that's abnormal. SD Legend this month. Yes, girlfriend. That's amazing. Yes. Love it. Okay. So part of this is coming from the Make Your Mark contest, because you guys know that to hit Premier, to hit Elite, we have to help our coaches get to Success Club. So talk to me about how you do that. And I also want to tie in like kind of what you do for free groups, just because I'm curious, but I want to definitely hit on how you help your coaches hit Success Club. No? Hi, Kelsey.
We're doing like a push pod right now. This is like towards the end of the month. I want to say the last, it's probably been going for at least a week. And I'm actually doing it like with my upline and with another, there's like 30 people in this push pod. And so like whether people are contributing to it or who are just looking at the messages and seeing what other people are doing, and they're like, oh, well, she just sent out 50 new conversations and I only sent out 5, so I need to do that. And then all of the coaches who are running it do like a little, whether it's a video or a voice memo or like just something to contribute. And then once they hit Success Club, they leave the message pod. So it's kind of cool to see people. It's like so-and-so left the conversation. You're like, oh, they hit Success Club. And then we also do like a ring the bell in the thing. And that's been working really well this month, at least, for people who haven't hit it in the first half of the month. But I've said before, I do a lot of recognition and my girls really like that. And I actually didn't know some of them watched it and they're like, you get to say I moved up today. I've gotten that message. I'm like, oh, I don't even know, I had no idea that was something that motivated you, but now I do. So that's fun.
I love that. And when you get to leave the message pod, you're like, yeah, I graduated. I get to go. And then, you call them out and that's awesome. So for those of you that just joined us, Lindsay and Kelsey, we're talking about how you get your coaches to Success Club, because this is definitely it's actually a third of getting elite points. So elite and premier points. So it's absolutely important. And Megan was just saying how she has her people in a message thread and they help each other out until they hit Success Club. So what else is working for you guys?
My team and some of the leaders on my upline team, what we did is we created a calendar of live power hours. So every day for the last week, and we're going to continue this actually for the rest of the year. But we made at least 2 options. So there was an early morning and an afternoon or a nighttime power hour. And we actually did it for 5 days. So it was 7 total, but they had to be on a power hour for 5 days, and they had a tracker and they had to do all the things on the tracker. And then if they do those things, they're going to get into a drawing for a pair of Lululemon pants. So all the leaders put in $10 and we're just giving a raffle. We're going to continue that. We're going to make it higher steps for November and December. But I know none of my coaches are at Success Club yet, but they're all showing up. So to me, that's most important, is getting them to show up now consistently. Cause I know that that's my struggle is with my coaches. Why they're not hitting it is because they're just not showing up. It's not that they don't know what to do. They're just not taking the actions consistently. So that's getting tons of people showing up. My coaches are showing up and they're actually inviting. They have prospects going again. And for me personally, my team, I'm also using a tracker. And so I have that push pod group, like Megan said. And so every day, I'm showing a picture of me with my tracker, what I did, and I'm asking them to do the tracker too. So.
Perfect. I love that. And anybody else? I was going to ask a question, but I'll ask it later. What else are you doing to help your coaches?
Last month, with about 10 days to go, we threw out, just me and my downline, me and my leaders threw out we're going to do a 20 invite a day push for the next 5 days. And because that's really out of the comfort zone for most of my coaches, to do 20 invites a day. And so we did that last month, and we did that again last week, because for those that just were really struggling, or like you said, need that push to just show up, we didn't even do a giveaway. What I kept saying is like, your prize is your paycheck. And that helped us last month. Now today we're still struggling. Like a few of them have hit it, but like there are still so many of them fighting just for one more person today. But it's like they're building momentum for the next month in those last 10 days. So that helped a few people hit it in the first week of November. So that's kind of, it's getting them that confidence, especially my newer coaches. So nothing like formal. We just tried it last month and we tried it again this month. So yes.
Love that. And I love that you said you're building momentum, because I think I talked about last week about Holly Hilliers when she was at Super Saturday. She was saying, you know, I built emeralds and I knew they weren't going to stick around, and it didn't matter because I was building momentum, and that's exactly what you're doing. So I love that mentality of, yeah, that's fine if you don't hit Success Club. You're building that momentum. Like once you get 1 or 2 people, you know that 3 isn't a far cry, right? It's absolutely doable. So, okay. What else, you guys? I know Daniela is like eating all this up because she said this is a struggle to get her coaches to Success Club. So, what else do you do?
I typically have like 4 to 6 people hitting. And one thing I do is I start talking about Success Club, Success Starter, and the Success Club trip right out of the gate, because those type of things are motivating to people. And so I also kind of give them their first month to get that first win, because that's also a Premier Elite point. And so even if they hit 1 at the end of their first month, they kind of feel like, I could have got 2 more. I should have got 2 more. And I'm like, it's okay. It's great. That's your grace month. Like you have next month too. So then they're getting you 2 sets of elite points. And so you set that bar high, and then they they get sad themselves if they don't hit it. So then they want to hit it that next month. And so I've had quite a few success starters this year, actually. And I have a couple people that should be like all-star in the early half of 2019. So I think that just like talking about it right out of the gate, because I think sometimes we get scared when someone's new, like we don't want to overwhelm them that they have to help 3 people right away, but people are motivated by that. Especially if you're signing them on as a business builder, or like, you know, business builder, everyone wants to be a business builder. But just like talking about that right out of the gate and letting them know that that's a thing has been huge for me. And then setting the bar myself. So like, you know, we're obviously good at hitting Success Club in this group, but hitting 20, 30, 40 myself, so that then like if Brittany's hitting 40, like I have to hit 6. Like how is she hitting 40? I can hit 6. So just being an example. I also have a little pod with my pushers. So that's what works for me.
Love that. Love that. And something to tell your coaches, like I love that you're leading from the front and you're being an example, but I've talked to so many people this week that have said, I'm not even at Success Club, so how can I be a good coach? How can I expect my coaches to hit Success Club? And I don't think this applies to you guys, because like I said, you're as always, you guys are a level above. But if your coaches are having a problem with that, tell them that that's relatable, because a lot of times it's not relatable to be like, oh my gosh, I don't think I could get 40, you know, and like, that's not the expectation here. You know, if you're struggling to get 5, then your coaches are struggling to get 5. So if you have a coach that's like that and she's struggling to lead her team, absolutely tell her that it's relatable. And, oh, I can't tell anybody about the business opportunity because I'm not making $1,000 a week. Well, guess what? Most people aren't. You know, and Danielle Natoni didn't start that way. She started out making $50 a week, and she was super happy with that because she could fill up her car with gas. So think about, take it down and take it to that relatable level for your coaches, because that's something that a lot of people get hung up with. Like, I have to be able to make it to be able to show people what's worth it or what's possible. Brittany, what were you going to say?
Something else I do in my push pod, and honestly my push pod, I call it my elite push pod because my team knows that we're pushing for elite, but honestly it's anyone who's like showing up in their business is in there. It's like 9 or 10 people. I like to screenshot myself overcoming objections, because then they know that not only, like, I still get time objections, I still get price objections, I still get those types of objections, and I don't say, okay, you know, follow up within a few weeks. I overcome those hard objections and give them valuable, like, comebacks to those objections, instead of, a lot of them are like, you know, so-and-so doesn't have the time, or so-and-so doesn't have the money, or so-and-so doesn't like shakes. And I'm like, you have to get to the bottom of those excuses and overcome them, because I don't get an easy yes all of the time. Like I have to overcome those things too. And so screenshotting people telling me no in those conversations and then overcoming them and then coming back and being like, so-and-so about a challenge pack, or screenshotting a conversation that started 18 months ago that finally ended in a challenge pack sale, and talking about that consistency and that follow-up and just continuing to love on that person and like not forget about them. I recently just screenshot, literally, it was an email thread that started July of last year, and she just bought a challenge pack last month. Like just the fact that I kept checking in with her and, overcoming what was going on with her, and I'll have more money next month, or I just don't have extra money. And I literally will be like, don't you just hate when you don't wake up with extra money in your bank account? Like maybe you should be more intentional with where you're putting your money. Like those types of hard things, just showing them that it's okay to have confidence in what we have to offer and overcome those objections instead of just saying, okay, cool, another no. So
I love that though. That's you being transparent, because I could see me as a coach saying, well, she just gets yeses all the time. Like, I don't know how she does that. And for you to be so transparent as my leader would mean the world to me. So I can appreciate the transparency in that. So I think that's a great idea. Anybody else do anything similar to help their coaches? Megan?
So something similar to that is showing my coaches how many conversations and how many reach outs I do, and literally telling them like, I'm getting to like Success Club 20, 30, or 40 because I'm doing hundreds of conversations and I'm doing tons of showing up on my social media. And I'm making sure that I'm following a program, and I'm not just posting about my workout and my sweaty selfie, and like just showing them, like whether it's going live in my team page and talking to them about it, or just literally just screenshotting like tally marks or lists or however like you track, and being like, guys, like I got to Success Club 20 because I did like 400 invites this week. Like you don't do 100 and then get to like, and just being honest with them about it. Like it's not anything magical. Just like you were saying, like it's just work. That's just what it is. It's power in numbers, especially this time of year. I was telling someone in my downline today, I was like, I've never had to reach out to this many people. Sorry, my FaceTime's going off. I've never had to reach out to this many people as I have this month. And she's like, oh, that made me feel really good. I'm like, yeah, girls, these don't come easy, especially this time of year. So just being honest with them about like how hard I'm working too.
Love the transparency here. Like you guys are on the right path, because that's part of what I see with top coaches is like, and that's part of why we do What It Takes on the Champs page. I don't know if you guys have watched it, but we take those top coaches, the top 50 elite coaches, and we ask them these questions, and it makes them way more relatable. Like I always think they're hitting super crazy SC numbers, but when Trina Gray said she was between 10 and 20 every month, it was like, oh, like that brings it down to like a doable level. And it's just kind of mind blowing to think that she has so much success and has over a decade. And she's just steady. It's not even slow and steady. It's just steady. So I love that. Something that I was going to mention was the trackers. I love that. And I'm just curious, this is just a question. How would you feel about an SC tracker or a business activity tracker that's in an app? Just curious. Yeah, Winnie Hollow.
I would love it.
Okay.
I know you guys are like, no, but I would love it for my people. All my girls are like so systematic. So I think they would love it.
Leah, what were you going to say? Oh, sorry, Mickey.
Oh, I'm in Josh Coates groups. So like he has a tracker app that's coming out for his business activities. So my tracker is like based off of his. I modified it a little bit for my coaches because they don't have access to all his tools and stuff. But I feel like it's like 50-50. Like some people are like paper and pen and they want to like write, and some people are like would be 10 times better with a tracker app. So I think it just depends on the person.
Gotcha. Mickey, what are you going to say?
Oh, I think that I would have loved having a tracking app when I got started. I love the different apps that we had, or like when we started rolling out new things. Like I just think it makes it look more professional. Like you're really doing something meaningful, as opposed to like just grab any notebook and jot down anything that comes to mind. Like it's a lot more professional every time we roll out an app. I just feel like it just ups the professionalism in the entire network so that you know that you're joining something that's legit. And I think it's hard for people to see themselves as a real business owner in the beginning because we are building everything from the ground up basically. So the more systems that you can get them, because I think that a lot of people are into like, I need a boss mentality, you know, like somebody to tell me what to do. And the more of those systems that you can give them, they feel like, oh, I can fill out a tracker app. Like I can do that, you know, as opposed to like taking an initiative. You got to go print this out or figure out what you're doing or set up your Google Streak, whatever. You know, I think that every Beachbody branded product is good to get people into this business mentality.
Absolutely. And it's just another option, right? It would just be another like, hey, this is something that can help. Because Danielle is like, no more screen time, no more apps, which is totally fine. But me thinking, because I always put myself in a new coach position, right? Just to think about like, what would I do? I don't even own a printer, you guys. Like, to be perfectly honest with you, like this computer isn't even mine. So if I were to sign up as a coach, I'd be like, I can't print out like a tracker, and I am not going to take the time to like write out each tiny little box. Like that's a pain in my butt, right? So that's kind of where I'm coming from, and I'm just being perfectly honest with you. Kelsey, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I feel like something that would be completely game changing as a coach is if we had an app almost like the challenge tracker, but where we could have all of the girls in our downline, like our team, be able to do check-ins through that, and we could see like what they're doing for activities and business building activities and what they're tracking for it so that we can help them be more successful. But like it's all in, you know, one organized app almost. Like, okay, here's all my girls in my downline. What are you doing? And I know that like we have like, obviously we can track their businesses through the back end, but more of those activities that they're doing instead of just like seeing how many signups they're getting and stuff.
Exactly. And it would also help you with where you're putting your time, right? Like, okay, well, I see that you haven't filled out your business activity tracker. So that means that we can't have a one-on-one because that's a requirement for, you know, us to have one-on-one time, whatever. So I was just curious. That's not an announcement of any kind. I was just curious because I know that they're kind of working on something and like a new tracker, but paper. So I was just curious to see, like, just putting feelers out. So yes, that was a thing that I wanted to bring up. And then the other thing is Brittany mentioned success starters. And I just wanted to put a bug in your ear that is going to be really important next year. Okay. So if you don't know what that is, get very familiar with it and start trying to develop those right now. See what you can do, see what activities you can do to increase your number of success starters. Fair? That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Anybody else have anything to add on getting coaches to Success Club? Whitney, what are you saying? Use your voice, love bug.
I said, is it going to have to do with elite points, success starters? Okay.
Neither confirm nor deny.
That's
There
all.
you go. Yes.
I'm just hoping that everything I've done the end of this year sets me up to hit elite in February of next year.
Absolutely. That's
Because
what
the frustration is real.
that's exactly what I want you guys to work on.
Right there with you. My mentor was like, January just might be like your best month. And I'm like, but it's 2019. Like, but it's okay. Momentum.
Exactly. And who's 2-star? Who's hitting Premier? Whit? Leah?
I have 3 weeks left. Don't count me out.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Megan, you're hitting Premier.
I'm
You have one more week, Whit?
still shooting.
No, I have 3 weeks to hit 5-star. That's my goal.
Yeah, right, there we go.
Perfect. I love it. Okay, so I wanted to switch gears unless you guys had any more thoughts on the Success Club, the Coaches Hitting Success Club. No? We've exhausted that? Okay. So I did want to talk about free groups because it kind of ties into bringing these new coaches on. Who does free groups? What does it look like for you? Britt's a hard no. Danielle's a hard no. Leah, you do free groups? Okay.
I do free groups for my customers. But also I wanted to share this. Natasha actually knows about this too. So I shared in the group about, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. It's a free group basically for coaches. So I'm doing it right now. This is my first week and it's going so well. So I'm really excited about it. So it's based off of a call that Ashley Lachlan did. And so people that are interested in coaching, right? You've already had conversations with them. You've already maybe sent them a webinar or had them on a live group or whatever, but they haven't actually pulled the trigger to coach. I've enrolled them in a free group. So some of these are already my discount coaches that are like, I'm not sure if I can coach. And some of these people are totally cold leads I got from Instagram that wanted to know about coaching. I sent them a webinar and then I set them up with the free bod trial. So it's a 1 week group. They're going to I give them a calendar, what workouts they're going to do every day. So in the mornings, it's like a check-in, do your sweaty workout, do your sweaty selfie. I'm having them follow clean week meal plan. And then in the afternoons, every day we're doing a video and giving them a business activity. So talking about like actually what they do as a coach. So sharing your story, making new friends, messaging people, connecting. We're talking about personal development. And every day we're giving them like an action step. So for day 1, we had them share their story. Day 2 was make new friends. So like send 5 friend requests, 5 follows. And then every day it's going to build up to them like actually feeling like, okay, this is what I'm doing as a coach. I think I can do this. This seems doable and I'm going to sign up. And maybe Natasha can add too, because she said she did this group in the past and had tons of success. And I'm feeling in the group like it's going to be really successful. So I'm going to continue doing it.
Yeah, I can add to it a little bit. I ran one like a year ago and it was and I decided I was really pushing to find those business builders. So I decided to rerun it again in August. And it coincided with me resigning from my full-time job. So that was also a nice like combination. But yeah, I just think it's a really nice way for people to understand what we do, with our customers. Like it gives them the whole challenge group feel because they're posting every day with their workouts and we're posting our Shakeology, so they see that, they know that that's involved. It's not like some secret or anything like that. And then they're just doing those coaching tasks and it really just gives them a feel for what they do every single day. And I think I signed like 7 business builders from that group, 6 or 7. They didn't all stick around. They didn't all do something. We know that happens. But I did find like 2 or 3 girls who were really motivated from it. So, I pulled from the same place that we talked about earlier. Like I pulled from Instagram. I pulled from coaching groups that I've had on Facebook for like the last 2 years, just people I've been talking to forever. But yeah, those people who were like kind of on the cusp, it was a really good group for them to like understand more about what coaching was. So
I love that. So a couple questions that people have for you guys. How many people did you end up in your group, and do people actually do the actions, I guess is what Danielle is asking. So how many people?
I know that I told you guys, I can't remember the number that I told you because somebody asked me how many people I had in the group. I want to say I said I had like 18 people in the group, and I ended up having, or something like that. And I ended up having, and that was just for me, my coaches, my downline had invited people to the group as well. So I ran it for them, and I ran it with a success partner also. So it was a pretty big group. And I think it was 6 or 7 people signed from it. So I thought the like return rate was really high in comparison to sneak peeks and stuff like that. What was the other question?
Do people actually do the actions? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they actually did. And I would have them do like a screenshot. If they sent friend requests or something like that, they would just comment below and say how many they sent. But what I found was they were like, send 5 friend requests. well, I said 20, because they were like, that was really easy, so I was like, great. Those are the people that I want to join me. And then I just have them do like a screenshot. We had them do a post one day, and then 2 days later they went back to that post and reached out to people and just said, hey, thank you for your support of my post. And so it really actually got them into the whole like messaging people, which is scary for new coaches. And I'm like, hey, if you can do that, then you can do this, because that's what we do, really. We post and we talk to people. It's not hard.
Absolutely. And that, it's so great, because another thing I was going to bring up with the free groups is, so I'm typically not a big fan, because you put so much work in and then you don't get anything out. Right. So typically I'm not a huge fan, but after talking about it this week, I've learned that there's a lot more to it than that. Like, there's ways that you can do it so that you're not putting in a ton of work, and there's ways to kind of protect your time and your investment. One of my coaches requires that they get a free trial of BOD every once in a while. And that means that they can't come back into that group because they don't have, so they either have to pay for BOD, which, okay, that's a win, or they can't do the free group. Right. So I loved that. And he said that he had his coaches invite to that, because it kind of takes out the scariness of inviting to something that's paid. So he's like, just to kind of get them into the groove of inviting to something, kind of getting them into getting used to, hey, come join me for this. So I loved that. And then getting referrals from those free groups. But I love that you would run them with someone, like your coaches would come in and run it with you. But this coach group sounds awesome. So does anybody do anything different, or like keep going off of this, Leah?
Well, so this group, I did this trial just with me right now. And if it works good, I'm going to have all my coaches do one too. So I'm running this also with a partner. So I have 10 people in it right now. And I didn't share on social media enough as I wanted to. These were just like all leads I already had. So in the future, I want to like really like do a whole week of really like ramping it up. But anyway, I also run a free group myself. I have a free community, and I've been running it since January of last year, and it's up to almost about 1,000 people. Most of these people are 100% cold leads. I run one ad a month for a free squat challenge. I get anywhere between 50 to 150 people for like $10 to $25. And I get them into this group. I do one live video 5 times a week. So it's like 10-minute investment of my time. And I just like get super like ramped up and energy driven and like tell them about my story, and then do like a squat. It's all it is. I do different moves, nothing complicated. There's like point systems, and they can like win points. People like freaking go crazy about like winning challenges, just so they can like say like, I won the challenge. Right. And I'm motivated and competitive, so I want those people to come to me. And then they're my funnel. So they're my free group funnel. I don't run it as a community. I don't invest a lot of time and energy in it. I share upcoming groups in that group. I recruit from that group, and I've gotten customers, coaches from that group 100%. It takes time, because they have to gain trust with you, right? Because most of these people come from my like page, which I do not work. I simply run an ad, I pull them in, I friend them, and get them in this group. And what I also started doing, which is worked really, really well, is I tell them if they invite 5 friends to the group, they get in a bonus raffle prize. So people share these posts, and people tag a bazillion people, and it's a bazillion referrals. One time I had like 300 in 1 month. That's like insane. That was not the norm, but that was from like all referrals. So it worked really, really well for me to connect with people that I wouldn't have been able to find also. And those posts, I do 1 post a month, and I put on my regular page. It hasn't been working on Instagram for me, so I haven't been doing it on Instagram. It works on Facebook. And I do the same thing. And I'm like, new challenge starts Monday, tag 5 friends, comment below. And I run that. I post it on my page after I ran my ad and started friending all these people so that they comment on this post again. And then that post blows up. And then even my regular Facebook friends say they want to join. And that worked really, really well for me. I encourage my coaches also to run a free group once a month and use the same funnel system, whether it's something simple like that, but not putting a lot of time and energy, or I have like a clean week program kind of, and it's completely done and I give it to them so that they're not spending lots of time and energy on free groups.
That's amazing. I hope you guys are taking notes because this is incredible, like such good information. So Natasha said she calls hers Be Your Own Boss Boot Camp. Some people call them Girl Boss Apprenticeships. That's awesome. And if you guys are interested, Natasha put her script in the chat so you can do that. And then Kelsey, I love what you called your last sneak peek was called BYOB, Be Your Own Boss. It's fun. I like that. That's fantastic. Okay, guys, anything else? I don't want to say anything because I don't want to mess it up.
So I free groups are painful for me, but I know that my new coaches need them because they need to be able to get that confidence of inviting to something where they don't feel the pressure of a paid group. Because like right now I want to invest my time and my energy in people who are going to be my clients or who are going to be potential coaches. But it really helps my new coaches. And so sometimes I'll run 1 or 2 a month. And honestly, it's just based on like whatever I want it to be. In the beginning of October, I did like a crock pot and core one. And I just created like a 5-day crock pot meal plan, super simple on Canva. I love creating things. Like it's my teacher heart in me. Like that was my like relaxation time. And then I picked 5 different core workouts. And if you go on YouTube, like there's so many Beachbody trainers who have free workouts on YouTube that are like 10 minutes long. And so like I specifically made sure that those core workouts were Beachbody trainers because I wasn't just going to pick some free shit that they could go find on YouTube and think they're going to do a program with. And so I did that. And then like this week I'm doing like a sugar detox after Halloween, and we're just going to do like fun stuff like that. And so like that just gets people interested. And I usually do the free groups around the time when I have like an influx of new coaches. Like I had 5 last week. So I'm like, okay, there we go. It's 5 days. We each take 1 day. I'm not doing something every day. I'm not going live every day. I'm not like spending a lot of time on it. And sometimes I offer them to my clients too, because I have like a community page for my clients. And if they've fallen off, then maybe like a 5-day sugar detox after Halloween is something that they're going to want to do. And so it just, gets people in my funnel, and they're not my favorite thing to run, but I pretend like they are. And it helps my new coaches a lot with their confidence. And I try to also align them to where like my boot camps begin on the second Monday of every month. So that way, like if my new coaches are inviting this week and we're doing our sugar detox after Halloween, then they're going to ask all of those people to be in our boot camp afterwards and say like, hey, this is what it's going to look like. This is what it's like. Cause once again, it's building that trust of like, here, let me show you what I'm going to give you, or something like that. But it's nothing like crazy special. I usually try to do some kind of like fun theme though. I've done like self-love free groups and things like that too. So it doesn't even have to involve fitness.
And I think that's a really good point too. Leah says she runs her free group on the last week of the month religiously to get them into the next month's group, which is great. But going along with what you said, Megan, it's kind of it's something helpful, right? You're providing value for someone. And though I want you to protect your time and I don't want you to invest a ton of time in it, it's kind of like a karma builder, right? When they think about you, they're going to think about, Megan helped me through this. Megan, like they're going to get something out of it that they're always going to remember, right? If they actually put the heart and soul into it and they're doing something, they're going to get value out of it. A lot of people just don't care and they're in it just for, a freebie, and we don't want those people. And that's why, like, if you have to sign up for bot or whatever it is, you really don't have any skin in the game, but at the same time you do.
Yeah, I have done that before. I don't do them all the time, but I do groups where I require the free bod trial. Or if someone's been in a free group of mine before, I've done groups where I require them to add 5 friends into the group if they're going to be in the second free group. So they can't just be in free groups. Granted, I've had people in free groups for like over a year, but one of them is like one of my coaches now. And I'm like, okay,
Perfect.
whatever. I got one person out of someone who was in my free groups for a year. But that's something I also require is people to invite people so they're not just like taking it. And plus, like, sometimes the free groups are the same, and then they see that and then they're like, oh, I should probably join a boot camp. So I stopped doing the 5 same healthy habits every single time.
Totally. Well, and I never want you guys to recreate the wheel if you don't have to. Take 12 groups, use them the same all the time. Like every year, January is always the same. February is always the same, right? Just do a month, do a year, and then use the same groups so that you don't have to think about new content all the time. Anything else, you guys? Kelsey, yes.
The groups that I have a free group called like Prime Wine Tutorial Time, and it's just like Amazon Prime, like talking about wine and doing tutorials, like on makeup or whatever. A couple other girls and I run it together. So it's just adding value. It's definitely not like one that I get a ton of people from, but making those connections for sure. The ones that I've had like the most turnaround rate from is definitely like the clean week groups, and offering that week for the, they get that shake sampler pack or whatever. And I end up signing up several people each time I do that, but you have to time it right, obviously, because you don't want to like have everybody sign up for just doing that and then not hit Success Club. So those are the things that have worked for me. But I've just had a thought, and I'm not sure if everyone does this or has done this, but when you do a free group, adding maybe adding the questions in the beginning to get their email, because I haven't done that, and I don't know why I haven't thought about it until literally this moment, because it's stupid, but
yeah, so I'll add to that. Like everybody that goes in my challenge, I have that questionnaire and I get their email and they go on my email list. And so these people I do once a week. I just started doing like emails. I've been collecting them forever, but I just started like a weekly email, like just sharing or talking about like upcoming programs or whatever. And, the more that you build up those people, the more potential you can reach from like one email. So.
Love this. You guys, such great content today. Anything else before I let you go? I don't want to take up a ton of your time on Halloween. All that. No? Okay.